In a world where people steal, kill, there's wars, pandemics, and carries all of that and much more throughout its history, what world am I talking about? Clearly it's the real world, and yes, those things happen in our world. And you know who doesn't like that? The gods, of course, and they will surely all get together to destroy us, just like it happened in this anime. This is Record of Ragnarok. Indeed, my friends, many gods of different religions and mythologies are holding a meeting where they discuss whether we human beings deserve to live or not, since the only thing we do is kill each other like idiots and ruin planet Earth. Look, here we have Santa Claus, Zeus, Shiva, who looks like a JoJo stand, Aphrodite, who must have a lot of back pain. I mean, she literally has 2 statues holding up her boobs. In short, all the gods from all the religions. Given the evidence, most, if not all gods, are tired that we do nothing more than killing each other and pray to them, and they decide that the human race must be exterminated. But when they are about to finish voting, Brunhilde appears, a half-human Valkyrie that seems to feel empathy for human beings, and to give them a chance, she reminds the gods of the existence of Ragnarok, a tournament between gods and humans. If humans win, they'll be able to live for another 1,000 years. The gods don't give a fuck, since they already made their decision, but Brunhilde taunts them by saying they're scared. And since fear is for bitches, the gods agree to have Ragnarok take place. The rules are simple: 13 gods against 13 humans, and the first to win 7 matches is the winner. The gods were clearly cocky because they didn't believe a human could beat them. There was simply no chance. They even started praying. Don't they understand that they're praying to someone who's gonna kick their asses? Anyway, you might be wondering, who are the humans that will fight? And as Brunhilde was the one who proposed the idea of Ragnarok, she was tasked with recruiting those who will represent the human race. And she chose some of the most relevant people in the history of mankind. And just to give you an example, she recruited Nikola Tesla. Despite being on the side of humanity, Brunhilde is well aware that humans will never be able to face a god, and so she gathers 13 of her Valkyrie sisters and turns them into weapons for the humans. Weapons that give them enough power to fight against gods, and if they ever break, it would mean the death of the Valkyrie in question. The first match is between Thor, and I just want you to take a moment to appreciate how cool this Thor looks. I mean, he's gorgeous. Against Lu Bu, the warlord, a Chinese general from the Three Kingdoms period of China. I'm telling you because I have no idea who he is, but he's strong. To everyone's surprise, they are both matched in strength, and they were having a close fight, and they show us how similar they are, since neither of them ever found someone that could give them a real fight. They always defeated their opponents in a second, something that made them feel empty because they had no worthy rivals. Since the Thunder God was motivated after Lu Bu managed to wound him and block his attack, remember that the spear Lu Bu was wielding is a Valkyrie, he decides to unleash the full power of Mjolnir, Jonathan for his friends. And even if the hammer's design was already different to what we were used to, now it looks like a sort of brain hammer that looks kinda disgusting, to be honest. It looks like a Terraria boss. Lu Bu manages to stop his attack, but the power of Thor is so great that the Chinese warrior's leg breaks. But that's not the end of the human. No. Since he can't walk anymore, he calls his faithful steed, knowing that this was going to be the attack in which he has to give his all. They acknowledge each other's strength, happy to have finally fought against someone that managed to match their might. They both use their last and most powerful attacks, and after a great clash, Lu Bu's weapon breaks, ending the life of the Valkyrie. Knowing he's already defeated, he lunges at Thor, satisfied with his combat, only to then be beheaded by Mjolnir and giving the first win to the gods. What a shame. I mean, that Chinese guy had a lot of balls. Well, for the second fight, things are gonna get more interesting. Supposedly, Shiva was going to fight for the gods next, but it seems that Thor's battle made little old Zeus feel a little motivated and eager to fight, and since he's way stronger than Shiva, he makes him stand down and tells him to move over because it's his turn now. And you might be asking, who's the old man gonna fight? Well, on the side of humanity is the #1, the first and greatest of all humans on Earth, Lionel Messi. Oh, not him? Oh, okay. It's the first human created by God, Adam, who covers his nuts with a leaf and hates the gods. To fight, Zeus starts making a strange show and then gets extremely buff, and Adam's Valkyrie takes the form of some brass knuckles. But this is not the only tool Adam has for his disposal for this fight. Since he is someone created by God, made in his image and likeness, he possesses the Sharingan. And I know it's not the Sharingan, but you know it's literally a Sharingan, so I'll call it that way. And it allows him to see all of Zeus's movements and copy them perfectly. Blows come and go, the boys are entertained by the fight. They continue punching and kicking each other, and Zeus, surprised by his grandson's power, uses Hit's ability to stop time. First he gets buffed like Master Roshi, and then he attacks just like Hit. Those are some nice references, son. But in the end, Adam dodges and turns his head with a single strike, leaving Zeus knocked out on the ground. Everyone thought that humans had earned the victory, but the horny old man gets up and puts his head in place. Since Adam is really strong, Zeus gets serious and reveals his final form by compressing every muscle in his body, ending up looking like the old man Netero from Hunter x Hunter. They continue throwing hands, beating the shit out of each other and kicking their respective asses until Adam's eyes cannot take anymore. And just like Itachi, they get fucked up, leaving him blind. I guess he couldn't handle the neutron style. Meanwhile, Zeus also cannot hold out much longer because his muscles are already bleeding. They both start fighting and defending themselves however they can until finally, after they both throw their final blows, Adam dies, thus giving the gods another victory. For the third battle, the whole arena begins to fill up with water. Why? Because the next fight is Poseidon, the god of the sea, the Zeus of the ocean, who for some reason seems to have no emotions at all. His eyes are emptier than my wallet. His opponent is Sasaki, a Japanese swordsman from the Edo period, respected and feared by the other swordsmen, just as Poseidon is feared by the gods for being so indifferent and ruthless even towards other deities. With his Valkyrie turned into a sword, Sasaki appears to be evenly matched with Poseidon, even though he avoided all of his attack. His ability to read his opponent and knowing all of his attacks was not enough, even though he dedicated an entire lifetime to training, psyching himself up and analyzing all of his enemies and training non-stop. He only managed to cut a lock of the god's hair. Once again, the god was confident and arrogant, even managing to break Sasaki's sword. But conveniently, the Valkyrie that transformed into a weapon had two personalities that she could control at will, one being very calm and the other being an unhinged mad woman. Thanks to this, he could wield two swords and deal more damage to Poseidon. But after receiving so many hits and seeing himself at a disadvantage, Poseidon's face changes to that of a complete psychopath, and he starts to fight with all of his speed and strength, making it so that Sasaki cannot hit him despite being able to see his attacks. Because he's really fast, guys. Get it? He's too quick. Sasaki, pushing his body and skills to the limit, increases his speed more and more until surpassing that of Poseidon's and cutting off one of his arms. Then another, and then another, and then just kidding. He only had two arms, obviously. And slicing off his torso into pieces, killing Poseidon in the process. Thus, he obtained the first victory for humanity. Well done, Yasuo. We owe you one. By the third battle, the gods were already fuming, and it's understandable. A god was just killed, something they deemed unacceptable. They all wanted to avenge Poseidon's death, so they decide to take this tournament seriously, to exterminate the human race once and for all. The scenario changes once again, and now it looks like a cold and misty city. It's very dark. It was finally time for Batman to fight. Oh, it's not Batman? Well, that's boring. I'm sure many of you already know the story of Jack the Ripper, a serial killer that murdered prostitutes and was never found. Total sicko. And you might be wondering who he's up against, and he will fight none other than Hercules, the Zeus of Rome, the one who completed the 12 labors, the human turned god, gifted with supernatural strength. Once both are in the battlefield, they begin to... Ha! Just kidding. This is where the first season of Record of Ragnarok ends, sadly. But don't worry, because the second season just came out, and we'll make a summary soon, so stay tuned and don't miss out. That's all for today. See you next time.